iHeartRadio app. Number one for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app. Find your iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go beyond the iPhone, Android app, and at iHeartRadio.com. Here's another way to connect to iHeartRadio. If you've got a Roku TV, then you've got iHeartRadio right there in your living room or bedroom. iHeartRadio is available on every Roku TV and Roku Smart Soundbar speaker or Roku speakers. With Roku's voice search, you can easily access your favorite artists or radio stations with simple voice request. Your iHeartRadio music, radio stations, podcasts, and now on your big screen TV with Roku. Check it out for free now. iHeartRadio. Anywhere you want to listen, iHeartRadio is there. You guys are awesome. I've been on all day and enjoy everything I'm listening to. We talk about the news and we hear on things. I am a fan. I literally have it like in my ear constantly. AFI keeps me entertained. There's a smile on my face. More stimulating talk. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. That's the Andy Reesmeyer Show. Your host, Andy Reesmeyer. That makes sense, right? Shannon Barron, by the way, texted me after I was talking about their teams for tomorrow. A big announcement coming. Someone is retired. And I said, is it Mr. Bumperpuss? Who's been a big part of their show for a long time. She texted me saying she's been underwater. And then I'm assuming that Mr. Bumperpuss will not be retiring based on her reaction. However, you might have to listen to your channel tomorrow to find out. Another thing that happened this morning, which just shows how horrible my brain is. We had an article on KTLA.com. The headline is "Search Underway for Los Angeles Poet Laureate." That was my first reaction. Oh no, he took the Poet Laureate. And I think it's because we've been talking about people who've been kidnapped lately. And I was like, oh God, we had a Poet Laureate. That's what I'm talking about. They took the search underway for the Poet Laureate, but as it turns out, we're just looking for someone to be a Poet Laureate. Here are the things that you are being required under this position: accomplished poet. I don't know that there's a living accomplished poet. There's not a lot more, you know what I mean? It's got to be pretty small. It's not a lucrative, it's just not, they don't know about a lot of poets. Is it a poet laureate though? Oh, that would be like just the name. Oh, is it poet common laureate? Yeah. LAB retired bassist. Los Angeles thrives when every voice has the opportunity to be heard. And this Poet Laureate will ensure that people from all backgrounds can share their work, engage communities across the neighborhood, and inspire communities of all ages. You can apply at a link that was written on this article that was printed out. It just says you can apply at this link. It doesn't actually say where, so I can't do it. It's a paper. But if you want to go, I'm sure you'll find lots more information there. That's a really big ask. Yeah. Just say the big job. Oh, to be the Poet Laureate of Los Angeles. Description there. Oh, to all that. That's a big ask. I read this poem myself with the cross. You know, did you never try it? You're not going to apply. That's fine. You're going to stick with it. You're working through it. That's fine. I think I can also say that this Poet Laureate inspires Los Angeles. She calls it very bad. I also got some good news for us people who are alive. And this is not the end on Facebook. Meta has got the technology to keep social media presence long after you're gone. The only way to keep people on Facebook for life is to remove the life part. A patent was granted at the center that uses AI to scan all the posts, comments, and likes to make digital stamp. That's pretty fun, right? Who loves that? It will then simulate your social media activity and respond to other content from real people beyond the brand, which means your likes can literally boost your effort. I like that I have a podcast studio. They started that from Peanut Network. This is fun. This reminds me when I did that late night show with the audience. And all the jokes had to be added, and the plots elaborated. room full of really sick of my stuff. They say that this robot AI will like comment or reply to some thought can simulate audio video calls. Why are we doing this? Continuing on. A couple of songs to you by James Reddick. Using Jack Rivera for his own voice. Also, Gonzalez, Mario, and we were talking about the John Frusciante song. And when I told you song earlier, how I thought that it was similar to Jimi Hendrix. And obviously, John Frusciante was heavily influenced by Jimi Hendrix, which will show you how close that is. Listen to Purple Haze now, after having heard Danny California and They Sold. Right. That's one thing. That was actually correct. And it is hard. Here's and also the tone too. It does sound right. I went to this show last year at the Rose Bowl big reunion, and it was incredible. There were two Los Angeles names. Yeah, all those that did not get it. Oh, very, very good. All right, we've got another one here that I'll play here as we go to break. Think about it. Yes, on the other side of the break here. We've got Chris Merrill, also tries to present a party here. I'm running a microphone pretty quick. I'm just saying, this guy might be 640. Take a listen. Stand by 640. You know it. Give us a call 1-800-520-1KFI, 1-800-520-1584. On the show. See you next show. Check it in. Kylie Gonzalez on KFI 24.
Here's the latest. Investigators continue to search for Nancy Guthrie, the Disney Mother Today show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, and the NBA All-Star Game tips off. It's underway right now. More news past the top of the hour. Check it out.
And now thinking about podcasting, streaming music on Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next two combined. So whatever your customers are into, true crime, sports, comedy, culture, we'll hear your message. Most only iHeart can extend your message to audiences across broadcast radio. And all this reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula. The number of consumers who hear your message times the response rate equals the results. Now let's get those results growing for you. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Let us show you at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time. Call 844-844-iHeart. And get podcasting working for you.
Let's go to Crash.
Super hot.
This recording is sponsored by Elite. Life has a picture. Plus, throughout your day, with just one pill, Elite lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Blood relationship is just an exchange of care. Care can take so many forms, financial, sexual, all kinds of things. You can't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a relationship from the outside. It feels fair to them.
Tonight at 7 on KFR and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Liquid Death Sparkling Energy. Better for you, easy drinking energy drink.
Lose the weight, feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WASP-MONEY.
IV GLP-1 weight loss pill.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I saw you were with Bill Lee too, our governor. Yeah, I met him at he did a fireside chat with me about a year ago at the governor's conference, and we really bonded. He's a good guy, and he works with both sides on the legislature. He's got a great relation. He's done a bunch of good stuff in this state. He's gotten, he's on top of fluoride. They got really good SNAP waiver, so I think they've got probably one of the best SNAP waivers. The SNAP waiver is the food stamp waiver, so you can't spend food stamp dollars on sodas or candy, but they also have sugar content and they have corn syrup content.
Oh, here in Tennessee?
Yeah, so and I think they're the only state that has that now, and they've also banned food dyes. They've banned a couple of them, and they're going to ban the rest of them now.
And what did we find out with food dyes? Like,
The food dyes, we've told the companies they got to get rid of all. There's 9 of them. And the worst 4 we already banned. But the other 5, I think by the end of this year, everybody should have stopped using them. And then we rapidly approved 4 new vegetable dyes so that they can replace them with, something healthy. So we did that through FDA. We're working with the industry to make sure that they can do it, but they've been very, very cooperative. Most of them, about 40% of the industry, came to us, including the entire ice cream industry, came to us and said, we want to do this, but, help us. So we're working very closely with them, and they're all getting rid of it. Yeah, well, you spoke very highly of him.
he's a nice guy. I saw you were with Bill Lee too, our governor.
Yeah, I met him at he did a fireside chat with me about a year ago at the governor's conference, and we really bonded. He's a good guy. He works with both sides on the legislature. He's got a great relation. He's done a bunch of good stuff in this state. He's got, he's on top of fluoride. They got really good SNAP waiver, so I think they've got probably one of the best SNAP waivers. The SNAP waiver is the food stamp waiver, so you can't spend food stamp dollars on sodas or candy, but they also have sugar content and they have corn syrup content.
Oh, here in Tennessee?
Yeah, so I think they're the only state that has that now, and they've also banned food dyes. They've banned a couple of them, and they're going to ban the rest of them now.
And what did we find out with food dyes? Like,
Well, food dyes, we've now, we've told the companies they got to get rid of all. There's 9 of them. And the worst 4 we already did. But the other 5, I think by the end of this year, everybody should have stopped using them. And then we rapid approved 4 new vegetable dyes so that they can replace them with, something healthy. So we did that through FDA. We're working with the industry to make sure that they can do it, but they've been very, very cooperative. Most of them, about 40% of the industry came to us, including the entire ice cream industry, came to us and said, we want to do this, but, help us. So we're working very closely with them, and they're all getting rid of it. We should have gotten rid of it a long time ago. The Europeans don't allow it. Canada doesn't allow it. Other countries, you can buy Fruit Loops in this country that are just loaded with chemicals. And you can buy, the same company makes Fruit Loops for Canada and Mexico that don't have the chemicals.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a kid on TikTok and he was eating Fruit Loops and then his poop was glowing in the dark. You see that? I'm like, dang, that thing will swim upstream. That's crazy. I mean, but yeah, some of it definitely seems bonkers. And what did you say about fluoride?
Tennessee has a law that has to, where the water district has to inform the public about it. The fluoride is crazy because we know it reduces IQ. There's no question. The National Toxicology Program has done a meta-analysis and they can, it's dose related. So every milligram of fluoride that you have reduces your IQ more. And it doesn't work systemically. It was put in the 40s. And because it does help with tooth decay, but the effect is all topical. And back then they didn't have fluoride toothpaste, they didn't have fluoride mouthwash. Now we do. The parents can get the fluoride for their kids, and they don't. When you put it in systematically, it destroys your bone mass and destroys your thyroid. It's horrible, and it destroys IQ. I mean, if you have kids, would you rather have cavities or take your own IQ?
Yeah, I'd rather have them have cavities. I'd rather have holes in their teeth and holes in their ideas or whatever.
Right. But the European nations abandoned it, and there's been no increase in cavities. So, it doesn't make any sense for us to be putting it in.
And yeah, this is the bill known as the Tennessee Fluoride-Free Water Act prohibits public water systems in Tennessee from adding fluoride to any fluoride-containing compounds in drinking water intended for human consumption, and bans the sale of bottled water with added fluoride. So we don't have fluoride in our water here?
Well, there's natural fluoride in a lot of water. It comes from the geology, so
But we're not adding more.
Right. We're not adding it.
Nice, dude. Yeah, because what if you're trying to think of something, you have 2 sips of water, and you're like, God, I can't even come. Your parents send you to take a test, they give you a bottle of water, and you're like, God, I don't have a chance now. But thank you for leading the charge on a lot of these things. Thank you for caring about a lot of these things. I think I just want to say that. I know that you do care about so many of these things. I did see there's a Tennessee farm bill, and there's a lot of stuff you want to talk about too, and we'll get into some of it for sure. But this is what I was talking about here. This bill, it's Farm Bill 809. The bill is sponsored by Representative Rusty Grills. Would limit lawsuits if a user gets sick from a pesticide. Under the proposed legislation, as long as a product's label was approved by the Environmental Protection Agency, a person wouldn't be allowed to sue over the labeling. So, actually, Sean Ryan, the podcaster, and John Rich, the musician, they shared this online and on the day that it was going up for vote, I believe. Yeah, right here. Tennessee state politicians side with foreign pesticide companies over people dying of cancer. Ryan posted on X alongside a video speaking out against the bill, as did musician John Rich. After the pushback, Representative Grills took the bill off notice, which at least delayed the vote. It's unclear why that decision was made or whether Grills has plans to bring the bill back to this legislative session. And bring up just so we know who's doing this, bring up a picture of Mr. Grills. Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, look, if you're a farmer and you get sick from using a pesticide that you didn't know would make you sick, that you wouldn't have recourse against a pesticide company that did know that they cause illness. Because these companies knew that these cause illnesses. Yeah, evidence from lawsuits, internal documents, and independent reports indicates that Monsanto had information suggesting potential risk to human health from some of its pesticides, yet worked for years to downplay or obscure those risks in public and regulatory arenas. I mean, that's just wild.
The reason they're doing this is because of my lawsuits against Monsanto.
I remember you had that huge settlement against them a long time ago.
I think it was maybe 2019. We finally settled it, but I did 3 of the trials in San Francisco. And the first one we won, I think, $289 million for people who got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from using Roundup. And then the second one we won $89 million. The third one we asked for $1 billion from the jury. It was a couple that had both got it simultaneously. They were home gardeners. And their dog also got it at the same time. And a Labrador retriever, and the dog died. Both the couples were sick. We asked the jury for $1 billion, and they gave us $2.2 billion. And they did that because we were able to show them documents that showed Monsanto knew of the danger and then worked with corrupt officials, a guy called Jess Rowland, inside of EPA, who was the head of the pesticide division, and that they had deliberately concealed the science, fixed the science, and now the big study that they used to prove safety has now been retracted.
Yeah, I think I saw an article about that. Like they found emails that they were like, it was kind of ghostwritten or something.
Yeah, it was ghostwritten, and also the head of the pesticide division, they asked him, Monsanto asked them secretly, and now we have these emails, to kill a study by another agency called ATSDR. And he said, I can't kill it. That's not my agency. I can kill it outside. And they said, you got to do it. We can't have this study go forward. And he said, okay, I'm going to do it, but if I succeed, you got to give me a gold medal. And we had all of that. And we were able to show it to the jury, and they were angry, and that's why they gave us that huge punishment.
Gold medal in what? Just anything?
A gold medal for, killing the mouse. That showed that it caused cancer. That showed that it grows in cells.
But it's at a contest level now. That things like that are so like prolific that now it's like there's awards for it. It seems baffling. There's been a ton of lawsuits about this, right? Like about pesticides causing diseases and sickness in people, right? About this glyphosate, I think it's called.
Yeah, glyphosate.
There's been a ton of lawsuits, but they still don't have to take this product off of the shelf. So that's the craziest thing to me. Is that right?
Well, it's a problem because you have all the row croppers are dependent on it right now, and there's other technology that is emerging right now that actually, I looked at one yesterday. It's a tractor attachment that uses lasers to kill weeds, and that, if they can make that affordable, particularly for smaller farmers, that will be the answer, because you'll be able to, they can kill bugs and they can kill weeds. You program this thing and it zaps the weeds with a laser. It makes all the cells expose them. And so that, there's a future that we can now see the light at the end of the tunnel there. But right now, if you land glyphosate outright, it would put out of business 80% of our farmers.
Wow, so we're kind of dependent upon something that we know makes us sick.
Yeah, we are. And, we're doing a lot of work in the HHS to look for other alternatives and to find find an off-ramp, because the farmers don't want to be using chemicals anyway. They're very expensive. They know, they have some of the highest cancer rates of any profession. And farmers care about their land. They want to leave it for their kids. It also destroys the microbiome in the soil, and that causes erosion. And so it's not a good long-term solution. The issue is how do you transition off of it without putting farmers out of business? Here's that laser.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Laser weeding robot kills 100,000 weeds per hour.
Yeah, and it also kills insects. You can program it to kill, certain insects. But, that machine probably costs $1 million. So,
if you could have a couple of those running at night through your farm, that'd be sick.
yeah, it would be. It's a lot better than using chemical pesticides. So this is going to be, the future, but
we're not there yet.
we're not there yet.
Wow. It's just wild that we get stuck into something that makes us sick and we don't have a, it's like, I don't know. It just feels like such a conundrum. It must be like that for you guys a lot. Where you're like, this is just kind of where we are,
The agricultural community has been very, very supportive of the Maha agenda, and they're helping us transition away from ultra-processed foods, which is really the biggest issue. That's what's causing all these chronic diseases in kids. And farmers are going out of business. Farmers usually lose money 7 out of 10 years. Even when they're making money, they're making, a lot of them are just making for their work hours minimum wage. And we're having a hard time finding young people who will go into farming. So that is a crisis that we need to keep into consideration. And you have people at USDA finally who are really intent on solving this problem, but nobody wants any farmers going out of business.
Got it. Whenever you became secretary, did it feel like you now you're like on the inside? Like, does it feel like you go behind this curtain and now you get to see this?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Do you have to sign an NDA to have the job?
No. And we're doing the opposite of that. This is the most transparent administration in history. There's no president who's ever done 3 or 4 press conferences a day like President Trump does, answering any question people fire out.
He's a machine.
Well, I don't know how many press conferences President Biden did in his entire administration. But it's a lot less than President Trump does in a month.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And then, we are right now using AI to revolutionize the Freedom of Information laws so that people are going to be able to get freedom of information requests immediately.
So what do you mean a freedom of information request?
Yeah, so if somebody wants a document from the government now, it could take 6 months, 2 years. And we're going to make it so that they can get it instantaneously. And then all of our documents are going to be public except those that are shielded under the statute for one reason or another. And the big issue that, the big problem that we're dealing with is that there are names and privacy issues. We have to redact those. Legally, we have to do that, and we have to make sure we don't make any mistakes. So the AI that's what we're working out now.
When you got in office, you guys did like a big cut down of like a lot of the divisions and stuff like that. I think you went from 20 something to 15, maybe.
We had 82,000 employees and 20,000 left. And they left.
20,000 of them left, or did you guys make like cuts? Because I understand you guys made like a bunch of cuts.
That were buyouts so that people who are at the end of their career could retire early. There were rifts where people who were very new were let go. And it was about reducing the workforce, but it was reducing the bureaucracy. We weren't getting rid of research or anything like that. We didn't touch that, except if there were certain categories of research like DEI research, or there were other categories that were just, it was not real science, and it was not science. We're changing the trajectory so that the purpose of NIH, the focus of NIH, is going to be figuring out why we're all so sick. Why is this chronic disease happening? What are the exposures that are causing it? What are the alternatives? How do we end it? And so we're shifting the focus, but we're spending our research the same that we spent, in 2012 and 2019.
Was there like a recalibrating it? Because I had a friend Heather who was working at UCLA. She was a researcher there, and she said that like a lot of during the Doge period and stuff, a lot of their grants got cut, and there was like a kind of a I don't know if it's called a moratorium, but like a pause.
There was a pause, and every administration does that. You need to do a review and make sure that that those research projects are not, torturing beagles or doing DEI or decide that? Is it you decide, or is it
Well, we go through every single grant. We have big teams going through those grants, and then there's tremendous ways. We have 40 communications departments. We had 40 different divisions studying addiction, and so we consolidated those. So there was, you have 10 people doing the same job and not talking to each other with computers that are not interoperable.
Oh, it's the government.
Yeah, and we're changing that now so that, we consolidate it and we're making it more streamlined and efficient. But it's so that we can do the job better, so we can do better research. And then the research, was never replicated, which means that that's part of science, that if somebody gets a paper that makes a scientific hypothesis, you don't just accept that, you get somebody to replicate it to see if they come up with the same result. And that was not happening. There was no friction, no money spent on replication. And because of that, there was huge incentives to cheat. Scientists, if they have a hypothesis, and they get a grant, maybe hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of dollars to prove that hypothesis. And then they prove it, they get it published, and that's how they advance their careers. Well, if they fail to prove it, if the science says what you were thinking is not true, then they can't get published. You should publish that too, because that's science, but it doesn't get published, so their careers are, in danger. It's hard for them to get the next grant. And so a lot of them had this incentive to cheat.
So they have to win if they get it. If
the hypothesis is a null hypothesis, they don't get, their whole future goes into the toilet, potentially. And so because they knew that study was never going to be replicated, nobody was going to check on them. There was an incentive for them to cheat. And
there must have been a pipeline just for companies then to just get it,
well, it was also
lopsided science or solo-sided science that wasn't.
I'll give you an example. There was a study done about 20 years ago on amyloid plaque, and that is the cause of Alzheimer's. And that study came up and said, yeah, it's the cause of Alzheimer's. And we spent billions of dollars doing 600 or 800 studies that followed that. And they all were, as it turned out, they were all cheating. And, the ones that were, many of them were cheating, but all of them were kind of confirmatory. And all of their hypotheses about what's caused Alzheimer's was, put on the shelf. You couldn't get money for it because they said we already know the answer. And then there were drugs developed, etc. And in the end, we came in and this scandal was brewing. The head of Stanford University Medical School had to resign
because they knew it was going on,
because he was involved in publishing some of these fraudulent studies. And but they did it for 20 years because nobody ever had to really replicate those original studies. And that happens all the time. And you go down these scientific dead ends. And so now what Jay wants to do is to spend 20% of our budget on replication so that every study gets replicated. And Jay Bhattacharya, who is and he was one of the guys who was censored during COVID. He was one of the top statisticians at Stanford, and he and a lot of other ones were censored, lost their jobs. Marty McCary, who also his book, one of the he was also censored. Oz was censored, and they're now running the agency. So these are people who want to do real science and not politicize it, to depoliticize the science. Well, we had 10 people doing, these administrative jobs, and now we've cut that down to 5. So all the cuts that we did were meant to streamline the agency so that there's more money for research.
Like after the pauses on the grants and some of those things,
the grants were renewed.
Most of the ones are the ones that you guys felt were viable.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Got it.
When I want to add some Bitcoin, MoonPay is usually the first app that I reach for. You don't need to buy a full Bitcoin, and the whole process is clean, simple, and easy to understand. MoonPay has been a major partner of the show, and I've actually chosen to take my compensation from them in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin lives in my personal MoonPay wallet, and it's fully in my control. No one else has access to it. With the US dollar constantly moving up and down, this felt like a smart way for me to diversify a bit and potentially get more long-term value out of the partnership. Just keep in mind, even though MoonPay makes it easy to buy crypto, you should always do your own research and understand what you're getting into. Crypto can be volatile, and there's always the possibility of losing money. MoonPay is a tool to facilitate your transactions, not a source of financial advice. Trade responsibly. Earlier this year, I had a friend that passed away, and there was fundraising for him, to help have finances to take care of his family moving forward, to help with some things. And unfortunately, he also had a life insurance policy. Because you want to be able to make sure that just tuition, childcare costs, mortgage if you have one, things like that, that your family will be able to go on with some comfort. And that's where Ethos comes in. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There's no complicated process. It's 100% online. No medical exam required. You just answer a few health questions, get a quote in as little as 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Theo. That's ethos.com/THEO. Application times may vary, rates may vary. I saw you in your speech that you gave yesterday here in Tennessee saying that there's all kinds of temptation to cheat if you know you're not going to get caught.
Yeah. That's true in every system.
Yeah. Have you seen a lot of that?
The amyloid plaque is a really good example. Yeah, we see it everywhere. We see it everywhere. In medicine, it's everywhere. And the journals are utterly corrupt because they're owned by the pharmaceutical companies. And so people read a journal and they think, oh, this is science. But even, Marcia Engel, the one that ran the New England Journal of Medicine for 20 years, has said, you can't believe anything in the journals anymore, but they're just propaganda vessels for the pharmaceutical company. Richard Horton, who ran Lancet, who still runs it, says the same thing. The journals,
and there's not people running them.
Well, what happens is they make huge amounts of money. Yeah, and they make money from advertising, which is paid for the pharmaceutical companies, and through a scheme called preprints, where the pharmaceutical company plants the story. They pay for the journal about a drug that they're trying to promote. They pay the journal to print the story. And then they get a preprint, so it's a very neat-looking, copy of their article with the cover sheet of the New England Journal of Medicine on it, and then they distribute that to their pharmaceutical reps who are former Playboy models who go out and talk to the doctors, and they give that to the doctor and say, this drug works, do you want to have lunch? Yeah, and the doctors then start prescribing the drug, and they think, oh, well, it's legitimate because it was in the New England Journal of Medicine, but it is not. It's, you can't believe what's in those journals because it's all propaganda for pharma.
So how do we get away from that? What are you guys doing to combat this, or to change this, or can this change, or is it just awareness and then people have to take the responsibility?
No, what we're doing is open source journals. We're going to have our own journals that people can open source and publish, but you'll have the peer review published with it. So before you publish, you give that publication to a panel of experts who then read it themselves and criticize it. And the peer review now is secret. And then there's no raw data published, so nobody can go in and replicate it. So to the extent possible, sometimes you can't. You have to buy the raw data, and it's very expensive or inaccessible, so you can't publish it. But you can publish the peer review, which is what we're doing. And so everybody will be able to say, if they have 10 peer reviewers, and they all say this article sucks, it's got all these holes in it, then the public will be able to read that, and doctors will be able to read it, and the regulators will be able to read it. And so it's basically open source. It's, with crowdsourcing, essentially. And, that's how you get credibility in science. Science doesn't come from consensus. It comes from debate. And, that's why, you remember when they were telling us during COVID, trust the experts. That's not a thing in science. Trusting the experts is the opposite of science. It's not a function of science or democracy. It's a feature of religion. And it's a feature of totalitarianism. But in science, you will always question the expert.
Yeah, you can't. There's not an expert in science because it's like an evolving thing, right?
Well, when I did the Monsanto cases, I was part of a big team. We had, and Cheryl came to my trial. A couple days she sat through and watched us try the case. And Monsanto had experts from Stanford, Yale, and Harvard. They're three big experts. And they testified. And Cheryl said to me at the end of the second day, she said, "Why are you guys even here? These guys are, this science is very clear that Monsanto, that Roundup doesn't cause cancer." And I said, "Just wait." And then our experts went on, and they were from Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. And they said the opposite and were much more convincing, and the juries were convinced. And so there's experts on both sides of every debate, and a lot of them are paid to be experts. They're hired guns, they're mercenaries. And we call them biostitutes, the one that worked for industry, the ones that work for industry.
Biostitutes, that's great.
But, so there's experts have their own bias. We all have biases. Everybody's got a bias. What you want to do when you're dealing with science, you want to expose those biases. You want to admit them and acknowledge them. And then you want the science to be able to stand on its own. And that's the only way, really, to depoliticize it as best we can.
Right. What were some of the biggest cases of fraud? Like when you got in there and got behind the curtain to see, like the NIH, the EPA, just see what's going on back there. What were some of the biggest cases of fraud that you kind of found?
I mean, the biggest cases are we Medicaid and Medicare, there's about $100 billion stolen every year. And a lot of it is like what's happening in Minnesota with the Somali community and what's happening now, even worse in California. One of the problems is that's a systemic problem, is that Medicaid and Medicare now no longer, it used to be that they paid for your medical treatment, your doctor's visit, but now they pay for the person who takes you to the doctor, and they pay for home care, and they pay for a person to come in and pay your bills, right? So there's all kinds of opportunities for fraud. And a doctor recently, Oz told Oz, he said that there was a doctor in California that he visited, and the doctor had a patient who was a heroin addict. Heroin addict was coming to see him 4 times a month for some kind of treatment. And one day, the doctor looked out the door and saw his ex-wife waiting for him in the car. And the doctor said, "Oh, are you back together with your ex-wife?" And he said, "No, I hate her guts." And he said, "But she drives me because she gets paid $600 every time she drives me." Wow. And he said,
"So put you back together with your ex?
We make $3,000 a month, with her driving me this, and then I drive her to hers." Wow. And so there's all kinds of those opportunities for fraud. And, we found a hotel that had literally every room in it was the headquarters for a nursing group.
Where was that located?
It was in California.
God.
And So they're all just PO boxes. They're not actually doing any nursing care. They're just collecting money, and as we now know, a lot of the money that was going into the Somali community for autism care. There were these phony autism care houses,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was ending up with Al Shabaab in Somalia. So hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars were being stolen, shipped to Somalia to fund a terrorist group. But that's happening every day. Now we have the ability to catch them.
How are you able to adjust that sort of thing now? Like what makes it different now?
Because first of all, under the Biden administration, I don't want to get super partisan.
Yeah.
But the Biden administration turned a blind eye to all the fraud. It was mainly going to blue states, and it was an economic generator. There's money pouring into the blue states, and they just said we know a lot of it's stolen and illegal, but we're gonna let it happen because it's coming to us. It's coming to our state. And so what we've done now is with Medicare, we control Medicare. The states control a lot of Medicaid, so it's a little harder for us to detect fraud there. We've started out with Medicare. We're using AI, and we're using AI which can detect the fraud. It can tell us whether this guy who we're paying has been convicted of fraud before, and we shouldn't be paying him again. And it will be telling us every aspect of his business that we need to know to understand whether it's fraudulent. So we're going to save just this year tens of billions of dollars in eliminating fraud in Medicaid. And they used the pay under the Biden administration. The system was called pay and chase. So if they sent in a fraudulent invoice, even if we knew it was, the HHS knew it was fraudulent, they would pay it, and then they would put the Inspector General to go claw it back. And of course, it wasn't there, so they never recovered anything.
Oh, I see.
Now we're not going to pay them anymore. If they're fraudulent, they're not going to get a check. We're going to save tens of billions of dollars just this year, and we're going to save hundreds of billions over annually from now on.
And that's because the AI is keeping track of that?
The AI can spot the fraud.
Got it.
And then with Medicare, with Medicaid, which is, a joint state-federal program, is a little bit, we don't control the rails, and the states control them. And so we need state cooperation, and the red states are cooperating with us, but the blue states still won't cooperate. So that's going to take some time. And then there's categories that are much easier for us to control, like medical devices. We could do that quickly on our own, but there's other categories that are going to be much more difficult, but we will get it done within the next 3 years.
Whenever Doge happened, right? When Doge occurred, when Elon was in, or he was involved, or hypothetically involved, that's what it seemed like, just like to the regular
He was definitely involved.
He was involved. Was that successful? Was that real? Like, what was the outcomes of that? Like, did that seem like were you guys working together with that? Like, what was that all about?
I think even Elon has said that there would have been better ways to do it. And that going after the systemic, what we're doing now, these large staffs, you can cut a couple of thousand people, and over the long run, it's just, drops of water in the ocean.
Yeah.
So that's not going to save us huge amounts of money over the long term. But what we're doing now is going to.
The things you were just talking about, you mean?
Yeah.
That's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
Is Doge still active? Is that program still active? What were the outcomes of that?
Well, the outcomes were that a lot of, I cut my workforce by 20%. But, in truth, some of those were very good cuts. It would have, I think we all agree, including Elon, that it would have been better to do targeted cuts. Cut the people who are actually causing the problem, and then keep the people, a lot of the new workers who were only there for a couple of months. That it might have been better to keep some of those people and change the culture.
I see. So yeah, instead of more of like a mowing, more of like a pruning kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you think America is sicker than ever these days?
It is sicker. We're the sickest country in the world. We have the highest chronic disease burden in the world. And that's one of the reasons during COVID, we had 19% of the COVID deaths in our country, and we only have 4.2% of the world's population. And so the question is, why did America do worse than any country in the world with COVID? Was it mismanagement? Part of it was that, but the big part, and this is what CDC says, we're the sickest country in the world. The average American who died from COVID had 3.8 chronic diseases. And that's really what was killing them. It was very hard to die from COVID if you were healthy. And so, we need to get Americans healthy. We need to end the chronic disease epidemic. Right now, we spend 2 to 3 times on our health care per capita what they spend in Europe. And yet, we have the worst health outcomes in the world. We're 79.
Bring up a capita chart if you can.
We have we've dropped behind Europe by 6 years in lifespan, 10 years in some cases, and yet our health outcomes are worse. We have the highest maternal immunity, highest maternal mortality. That means women dying in childbirth in the developed world. We have the highest infant mortality. How could that be with the United States? And a lot of it is because of chronic disease, and then our diabetes rate. When I was a kid, the typical pediatrician would see one case of diabetes juvenile diabetes over a 40 or 50 year career. Today, 38% of American teens is diabetic or pre-diabetic. It was unknown. Autism rates have gone from less than 1 in 10,000 in 1970 to 1 in 31 today.
Oh yeah, you can throw a rock and hit an autistic kid.
Yeah. And California is 1 in every 19 kids, 1 in every 12.5 boys. And so the cost to our country, 77% of American kids can't qualify for military service.
How many percent?
77% cannot get into the military because of health reasons. No.
What?
That is the truth. Yeah, and
oh my God, bro, that's insane.
Yeah, that should get people's attention.
Bring that up. Is that true? Let me see if that's true. Bobby probably just uploaded this stat onto the internet from his phone a second ago, but still, that's okay. That's how it works. 77% of American youth can't qualify for military service.
Yeah.
And why?
Because they have chronic disease. They have asthma. They have diabetes. They have, they're obese. One of those. But my uncle was president. I was a 10-year-old kid. We spent 0 on chronic disease in this country, 0. Today we spend $4.3 trillion a year, and it's about 40 cents out of every tax dollar that is paid by you. The federal government is now going to treat chronic disease, and it's unsustainable, and it's getting worse every year.
Is it? Do you find that it falls more on it's the responsibility of the individual? We're not taking care of ourselves, or is it that we have a health system that is allowing, I don't want to just say foods and drugs, but allowing things into us that is not maintaining our natural health?
Individuals have a responsibility, but the obesity, when I was a kid, 5% of children were obese.
Yeah, you had one kind of fat kid in your class.
Yeah. And today it's 15%. It's going. Overweight is 40%. Adults it's even higher.
We should just have a thick military then, I think.
But Americans did not get obese because they're indolent or lazy or they don't want to do exercise. They got that way because they're being mass poisoned. And they're being mass poisoned because the government lied to them and it lied about the food. Now 70% of the food that our kids eat is ultra-processed food, and it's just poison. It's not food, it's just poison.
And which agencies allow that? I mean, the EPA puts labels on the FDA.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that's been one of the most compromised agencies?
Yeah, it was owned by Big Pharma and Big Food. And Marty McCary has changed that now.
So how do we know that that's changed? Like, how do we, look
at the food pyramid. And the food pyramid, when I came into office, we were supposed to publish this in January of last year.
Oh yeah, the last food pyramid I saw had vapes on it, so it was getting pretty bad.
We're doing vapes now. You mean the food pyramid?
Oh, the last one, yeah, the one that,
that's funny.
I was like, this is getting bad.
The food pyramid. So when I came in, we were the Biden administration had prepared new dietary guidelines, and they were 453 pages long, and they were completely driven by the same mercantile impulses that put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. How do you put Fruit Loops, which is not a food, at the top of the food pyramid? It's just poison.
Yeah.
But it was all driven by the commercial interests of the companies that controlled FDA. So when we came in, we got the best nutritionists from the best universities in our country. We basically locked them in a room. We thought it would take a month, but it took about 11 months. They fought over every single item on this in the food pyramid.
It took them 11 months to put this together?
Yeah, because you have to go over science. What is broccoli?
Right.
How does it relate to how much protein should you eat? How much saturated fat should you eat? What's optimal? And so they had to go through tens of thousands of scientific papers to make sure that every recommendation that we made is based solidly on a foundation of gold standard science.
So for for them to create the food pyramid, it took 11 months.
Yeah, and then we flipped it over. So we flipped it over because the category of food that you should eat, most, is a broad category. It includes vegetables, it includes proteins, salmon and steak, and
most of this is for children, right?
Well, no, this is good for everybody. I mean, most diabetes.
I remember from when I was a kid, you would see it,
Yeah, right.
But I guess that's the first point you learn about it.
That's why we're all so screwed up. But most diabetes can be cured through diet. And the doctors don't know this because most of them aren't taking nutrition in medical school. And we're now requiring, or we're working with the accreditors and with the testing, the people who do the MCAT to make sure there's tests on nutrition. We're working with all the medical colleges to make sure that now doctors are going to have 40 hours of nutrition in school. 80% of doctors say they do not feel competent to give nutrition advice. So what are they learning? They're learning pharmacology.
Right.
They're learning the pill. You let everybody get sick from eating the food, and then tell them the pill that will treat that sickness.
Yeah, at that point you're just a drug dealer.
And you can get rid of the diagnosis. Not only that, but now, there's really clear signs that you can get rid of mental health diagnoses. If that food can cure mental health problems. There's a doctor at Harvard, Dr. Pollan, who has cured schizophrenia with dietary changes. There's a paper that
Is that true?
Yeah, go ahead and look it up.
Cure schizophrenia with keto diets?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely notice that when I'm fasting, I'm pretty smart.
Yeah, you get smarter, right?
Yeah. Preliminary clinical findings, including case reports of small traits, suggest that ketogenic therapy may improve positive and negative symptoms, cognitive performance outcomes in individuals with schizophrenia spectrum disorders. I mean, I believe that so much of this is true, just that so much of it is how we are operating. It just feels like we've been stuck in such a place where we have you have a food industry that doesn't care if you're healthy, and then you have a healthcare industry that doesn't care if you get well.
Well, everybody's making money from us being sick. And I'll say one other thing about this. There are dozens and dozens of studies, you can look them up, they're case-controlled studies of juvenile detention facilities and prisons where they change, for example, in one wing, the diet to real food, and they leave the other diet in there, and that the disciplinary, the fighting, the violence drops precipitously. The use of restraints in one juvenile detention facility dropped by 75%. Usually the violence drops by 40 or 50%. And people, it causes depression, it causes anxiety, these foods. If your kid has anxiety, look at what they're eating. And you can change that in many cases by changing their diet and getting them to eat real food.
Yeah. How do you get the everyday person then to adjust their psychology or like their thought, like about taking more of an interest in themselves, because I think it used to just be you trusted the commercials. You're like, this is great for you, it's like, and you believed that.
Yeah, I mean, the way to change human behavior is one, get information out there that's real information. The other thing that you have to do is you have to change the economic incentives. And right now we have perverse incentives that reimburse doctors, that insurers, pharmaceutical companies, the doctors, the hospitals are making more money if you're sick. With drug rehabs. If you come back, if you relapse, they make more money. Right? They shouldn't be paid that way. The insurance company should pay them one lump sum and then follow that addict for the next 2 years. And every time he comes back, you got to treat him for free. That will incentivize them
to do better treatment.
Yeah, to do treatment that works, and the ones that can't do that will fail, and the ones that can do it, that get better and better at it, will do it. You change the economic incentives, you'll change human behavior, and then you have to get the information to the individual, and that's what we're doing. We've convened the 400 top tech companies before this administration. You could not get your own health records. So you own your health records, but you couldn't see them. You can't get a hold of them.
What do you mean? Why not?
Because they would information block you. They would make sure you couldn't get them. And now we've got them all to agree they're going to stop the information blocking. Oh, your medical records will be on your cell phone. And that is great for you because if you live in Nashville and you travel to Los Angeles and you get hit by a car, you don't want to spend an hour in the emergency room with a clipboard making out, one of those forms.
Yeah.
You hand your cell phone to the doctor, he puts it in AI, and he knows what your blood type is, what your allergies are, what your contraindications, previous treatments, etc.
It is ridiculous you have to do that all the time.
Right? So what President Trump said to me is he said, I want to make every American the CEO of their own health, that they're in charge of it. And then we're doing, we've changed the prior authorization. We've got 80% of the insurance industry together to eliminate all unnecessary prior authorization, which is going to change the experience that every American has with the healthcare system. Because when you go to a doctor, he says you need a knee surgery. You may wait 6 months for your insurance company to approve it. You can't do anything about it. But now, by the end of this year, you will know at the point of care. That means before you leave your doctor's office, you'll know whether your insurance company will cover that. And that's going to dramatically change it. We are also...
Does that make it any more likely that they're going to cover it? Or does it just make it that you're going to know?
It makes it so that you'll know. And so the doctor will know there before you leave.
Got it.
And the doctor will change the prescription or whatever you need to do. But you'll at least know, and you won't be, sitting at home. And then
that's actually going to happen?
That's happening, yeah. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're doing price transparency so that every hospital will have to publish its prices for every procedure.
How are the patients? Are you familiar with that?
Exactly. And that's just make you the CEO of your own health.
They already are supposed to do that, right?
It was a law that Trump passed his first term, but Biden never enforced it, so none of the hospitals do it. We've now passed new regulations that is going to punish them draconian way if they don't do it. So they're all going to be doing it by the end of this year.
Are they going to try to find a way to skirt around that, though? I wonder, are they...
Well, it's so screwed up because if you go buy an automobile and the guy tells you, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you the price till after you bought it,
it's insane.
And right now, if you're pregnant in this country, you could go 9 months on the phone every day trying to figure out what the childbirth is going to cost you in your local hospital and not be able to do it.
Yeah.
And we are about to go online with a system that will make all procedures visible to every patient. So I actually looked at the mock-up 2 days ago for New York, and it shows a map of Manhattan and a mile around Manhattan, and there's 30 hospitals. and it shows the price of childbirth at every hospital. The lowest one is $1,300. The highest is $22,000, and it's everything in between, $9,000, $5,000.
You can look and see.
You can look and see.
You'll be able to go to a menu online.
Yeah, it's like Gas Buddy when you're looking for a gas station, but you're going to be able to do that.
A clean bathroom or whatever that clean bathroom is. That was crazy. And they lie on there. And some of them are at rest areas too. And I got accosted by a guy who was I guess he was like an Easter bunny, like impersonator or whatever. Anyway, whatever. Good to be here today. So you're telling me that that's going to be a real thing? That's going to be available to us on our phone. So say I need to get an MRI, I can look online.
You can look and find, and right now there's no way that you can figure out the price of an
MRI. They'll lie to you. But if you call them and say, okay, I'm not going to come, I've had experiences where they will call you back and then they'll offer you a lower rate. Yes.
But they're all playing that game, and now they're not going to be able to do it anymore.
How soon is that going to be released?
It's going to be released very, very soon, the next couple of months. All the hospitals now have to come online and start reporting, and the ones that don't do it immediately, we are going to have very, very high fines for them. So there's going to be big incentive for them to start reporting, but it also is going to drive down prices, because why is there that absurd differential between $1,300 and $22,000?
Just because we don't know.
Because we don't know, so there's no market, so they do whatever the hell they want. And now there's going to be competition because people will be able to shop.
But won't there be lobbyists aren't there lobbyists just fighting it? I mean, right here it says, here's compiled a list of example of hospitals and childbirth costs in Nashville based on available self-pay cash bundles. Ascension St. Thomas is $4,800 to $7,800. National General is $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, I mean, why is that? Yeah, it's just chaos.
It's chaos.
There's no market there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unbelievable. And this happens at every it can be something as small as getting like an aspirin when you're in the hospital. It can be anything. Where they just bill you later and like, oh, it's a $70 aspirin.
Or they'll say to you, if you want, you can spend an extra day here. You look sick. You look like you could use the press. And you'll say, I'll do that. And then you get a $100,000 bill.
That's crazy. Yeah, and they only had fluorescent lights.
Could have gone to the Four Seasons.
For 4 years at that rate. So that's actually going to come into play.
Yeah, that will be in play.
And what's that going to be called? How will we access it?
It's called price transparency. I think we're calling it Trump-parency.
Really?
No.
I mean, if Trump named it, he would. I mean, he would name that in heartbeat, that's hilarious, though. Trump-parency, dude. Oh, it's opaque. What does opaque mean, actually? Look it up. I don't know if I'll land it.
Yeah.
So did I land that right or not? It was somewhere in the middle.
It's halfway transparent.
Yeah, there you go. Hey. What was that? That's somebody in boots. Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Find your perfect pair with Tecovas. Tecovas crafts quality Western boots for everyone, from generational ranchers and lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers. Every pair of Tecovas is handcrafted in over 200 steps. No stiff break-in period, just instant, out-of-the-box comfort. From cowhide and goat to exotic leathers like ostrich and cayman. Whether it's your first pair or your 50th pair, Tecovas has you covered. And personally, I like my feet better when they're in my Tecovas. From premium apparel to elevated leather goods like wallets, belts, and more. And right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Theo when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at TECOVAS.com/THEO. Tecovas.com/Theo. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west. You wouldn't hire a tweaker to be your barber now, would you? Your fade would be all over the place. They'd be pulling copper wire out of your sideburns. Hiring the wrong people can be disastrous. That's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. If you're ever injured by negligence of another, Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm for a reason. Whenever I witness an injury or a car accident happen, I automatically think, bam, Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. That's a lot. With over $30 billion recovered from over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. That's free. Yep, that's right. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Theo or click the link in the description below. That's forthepeople.com/Theo or click the link in the description below to let them know I sent you. This is a paid advertisement. That's one of the most important things. That's something that we've been talking about in here for probably like a year and a half now, 2 years, is the price transparency, power to the patients. That's one of the groups that's like helping to push that, I know. Who are the people that are lobbying so hard for these things not to happen?
Well, there were a lot of people in the agency who were, obstructing any kind of change. And, part of the challenge of running an agency this size is to change the institutional culture. And, it's, you're only bringing in, there's 82,000 people. We only have 250 political appointees. So they have to be good leaders. They have to be able to work with the bureaucracy. You need the bureaucracy. A lot of these people are very gifted. They're idealistic. They want to do a good job. The leadership has been very bad for so long that it's not allowed them to do what they want. And we need to reignite that feeling of idealism.
Do you feel good about it?
Yeah, I think we're doing a really good job. I think we've done more this year than any health secretary has done in history, that HHS has done in a single year at any time. And I think we're dramatically changing the relationship between Americans and their healthcare system. But, it's like turning a giant oil tanker. You have to keep hitting with the tugboat in the bow. And then ultimately it will start to turn. And then, you hit that, you hit it just enough times that it'll flip fast.
And things change. I know before you leave, there's a lot of stuff that's focused around addiction, right? What do you want to say about where do you think that we're headed with that? Some of the new things that you guys are going to try to implement, like with part of your new program. Like, what are some of the new implementations or some of the new focuses that you want to have people look at when they look at addiction?
Yeah, the problem with addiction is that the cost of the addict, we at HHS, we're the fiduciary of the medical costs of the addict. So we can look and say, okay, if we can cure you from addiction, I have a cousin who, Patrick Kennedy, and who was in Congress, but he had 17 rehabs, and he was telling me during that period of his life, he was at the emergency room every 2 weeks, and he had irritated bowel syndrome, and he had contusions, and he had all of these, other illnesses that he didn't even associate with addiction, but they're all associated with it. You know that.
Oh yeah, it's deep.
So, and he said in 15 years that he's been sober, he's never been to the emergency room once. And so HHS is able to look at those costs and those trajectories and all those collateral damage in the healthcare system. But the addict's costing elsewhere a lot more money, and with law enforcement, with broken families, with lost jobs and inefficiencies, and those aren't internalized anywhere. And what we're trying to do is bring together all of the agencies, the VA, labor, HUD, and HHS, all the agencies of HHS together to look at that addict and then follow him over, have somebody responsible for following him over the lifespan of his addiction. And nobody does that. And so now it's the same problem that we have with the healthcare system, is that it's everybody's financial benefit to keep that addict sick. Because everybody's making money from them. And so you don't have anybody who's accountable for the outcome. And what you need to do is, we're doing these pilot programs called Street in 8 different locales to figure out how to do this, to bring all the agencies together, to do early interventions, confront the addict on the street, get them out of crisis into treatment, out of treatment into, rehab, out of rehab into sober housing, long-term care, help them find a job and stabilize their lives, and have one person is responsible for that whole trajectory.
Amen. Yeah, because when it goes piecemeal like that, it's just like it's easy for people.
And they hand them off, and then everybody checks the boxes.
Yeah,
everybody. I found him a house. Okay, he's still shooting up. He's pulling the copper wire, piping out to pay for his attic. That's not my business. Yeah, that's law enforcement. That's somebody else.
Well, thank you. I think it's amazing you care so much about that, and for the chance that people can get well and change their lives. Before you go, Bobby, you and I have been friends, and I've always trusted you, and I've always, I believe in you, and I just know you as a person, and I know this is a guy at certain points in your life. I think you just have to make choices like this is a guy I believe in, right? Like for as much as you can believe in a human being, at like acceptable levels. Who are some other like congressmen and senators on either side of the aisle that you believe that that regular people like me can trust?
People that there's a ton of Congress people who are incredible, and actually too many to even start naming, because there's so many good ones. But in the Senate, Ron Johnson, who is fantastic. Roger Marshall from Kansas is fantastic. Mark Wayne Mullins. The president is crazy about Rand Paul, but Rand Paul has been really good on a lot of my issues. And there's a lot of other ones too. So,
what about Senator Hawley? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, and he's great. I've had tremendous support from the Senate, from the Republican Senate. The Democrats who've been my friend my whole lifetime are, it's just so tribal now that people, are not able to follow their conscience. They need to
ask their handlers, all that.
Well, they need to be part of the clash of tribal narratives. And, my family is the same way. I lost a lot of family and a lot of friends, and, the Democratic senators were all my friends. Bernie was my friend, etc. But now, they are, they're just locked in. If you have anything to do with Trump, you're demonized and vilified. And like President Trump says, he said if I cured cancer, they'd still find something wrong with me. And I think that's true, that we're not, we're locked in this very, very polarized space that is not good for our country. When my uncle was in there, everything he did was bipartisan. He was there for 50 years. And, he had more legislation under his name than any senator in history. And it's because he was able to work across the aisles. But no matter who you are now, you can't work across the aisle. So we're locked in this deadlock, and it's troubling. But, that is just the reality of where we are.
Whenever you kind of got behind the curtain, was there any more information for you there about any of the assassination attempts that had happened with your family or anything like that?
No, I mean,
did they give you any more unredacted statements? Was there anything like that?
No, I mean, President Trump has ordered all of that stuff to be released, and in fact, there was some stuff that I asked him not to release, and he said, "No, I'm releasing all of it." And the reason I didn't want it released is because there was information in some of the telegrams that could have jeopardized people who were still alive on a completely different issue. But it seemed to me that it was, that it was worth withholding a couple of these documents. The reason I knew a lot about it is because my daughter-in-law, Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, who ran my campaign, is now the deputy director of national intelligence, and she's the chief of national intelligence at OMB, and she was given the responsibility by President Trump of releasing all the JFK files, and she's been thinking about this for years. She was in the CIA. That's wild. She.
I met her.
Yeah, you've met her.
But so no, nobody slipped you a napkin and was like,
No,
this is it. It wasn't like that.
Not on that issue.
Got it.
And napkins slipped to me on other issues, but not on that one.
Before you go, and thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. It's great to see you. You look great, and I'm so proud of you. You know, I mean, I know you don't care about that, maybe, or you do. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I shouldn't have said that. I'm just like, yeah, you always remind me of like just to be resilient. So thank you. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, if you had if you had one thing to just tell just people, like what would you tell them?
I mean, I'd say eat real food. If it comes in a package, you probably should leave it in the package. But, if it comes from the ground, if it comes from the water, if it comes from the air, that's going to be good for you. And food is medicine. And you can heal yourself with a good diet.
Amen. Cool, man. Thanks so much for hanging out, dude, and congratulations. And, keep fighting for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Theo. Great to see you.
You too, bud.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gonna be.
Residents and business owners are fed up. This is about something very simple and very human. People feeling safe walking home, taking an evening stroll, kids riding their bikes to a friend's house. City council leaders now trying to cut through red tape. Numerous repair backlogs posting an immediate safety risk. This is an issue that is not unique just to our Vista or Venice or Palm. This is a citywide issue. Council in Tracy Park and Katie Arosovsky are introducing a motion to use discretionary maps with expediting these long furniture repair.
We're sitting in the street like a task force. Well, we've got a problem. Yeah. What should we do about our problem? Task force. I love it. And we can tell people we're doing something about the problem without actually spending money to do anything about the problem. Task force it is. Meeting adjourned. Let's get moving.
Copyright that's cost nearly half of the current streetlight outages across LA.
What caused the other?
Routine maintenance is always a challenge, but when that problem doubles, that's an organized method. It drives up the cost dramatically.
This is our problem.
With the ongoing citywide budget constraints, council leaders are also exploring other concrete solutions.
She said concrete.
We're also exploring other concrete solutions.
It's kind of like when you hear somebody say secret. She says that's what the really means.
Other concrete solutions like installation of solar streetlights, since cities will continuously target the same neighborhoods even after a home's repair.
Yeah, that's how they all do. Yeah, I mean, as soon as they fix it, the leaves are cool. The lights back on. That tells us there's more copper in the leaves. You are literally sending out a bat signal for steal this copper.
Long after long, it runs into the poles.
It's dark. It's dark. It's got a lot of dark tonight. And look at how the street is. And people should be able to walk here without fear.
Says parts of this neighborhood are totally dark at night. She refuses to walk alone. The other side of the street, a bit safer since there's installed these solar streetlights. He says that's a more viable solution to the maximum vandalism and losing.
That's right. Solar powered streetlights are the way to go. So why don't we do it? Well, solar power, how dare you do that?
That sounds like some sort of a progressive liberal Green New Deal solution. You don't want that in our America. No, you want it. So what powers do you realize that I'm here for local expense than anyone in politics at the outset? But the solar power street like makes so much more sense. Because one, you're not taxing the grid. Two, you're not giving things something to steal. They don't want to steal solar themselves. They're going to ship you up the pole so they can grab that. What are they going to do with it? Electric scooters. If I see somebody buying that furniture,
Oh, it's at the 7.
have you seen anybody riding an e-bike that looks like they're having a one-car job? Like, I don't see the CEO like, you have my e-bike. Yeah. Where?
You drive me back? I don't.
Well, that's not kind of too. I just think everybody's going to look at me.
You guys are. That's why you buy a car now.
That's why they're all regulars, because they've seen that's a terrible policy. So while the authorities the investigators are focusing on something
Evacuation warning. I'm at the Gonzalez Live in my 24-hour newsroom. The first of 3 storms moves into SoCal late tonight into early Monday, and it's expected to be the strongest. Rose Schoenfeld from the National Weather Service tells KFI we can expect 3 inches of rain in coastal and valley areas, and 2 to 5 inches in the mountains widely on Monday. The city of LA has issued evacuation warnings for support starting months after a flood was expected to come weather storm is expected to statewide Wednesday with more rain, more mountains. The latest partial government shutdown enters its second day. The big holiday says it's threatening impact to the country's airports. About 16.
Am încredere în știința din spatele NSF. Tu pe care le alegi.
Today's guest is an actor, a producer, an entrepreneur. He's a real do-it-all type brother. He has a new film out with Dave Bautista called The Wrecking Crew. Highly recommend it. Great action film. He's out the mud and the water. It's Aquaman. Today's guest is Mr. Jason Momoa. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I'm here to do the greatest deal on interview ever. I'm sure.
Oh, damn. Actually, it could be it. I'm trying to think we've had the greatest one. We had an Amish kid. That was pretty great.
Oh, wow.
He's pure Amish, too. He's like, every now and then I'll sneak off to the creek and we hide a cell phone down there and we'll listen to a little bit of Def Leppard. That was one of the best things I ever heard.
A little bit of pour some sugar on me.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I don't even think they have sugar, which is the craziest part. So, just down there listening to songs about illegal ingredients. That's all they're doing. Jason, thanks for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
We met at the 50th, I think it was the 50th SNL.
Yep.
I just remember I was walking and then this big, like, kind of, I would say semi-beautiful hand just grabbed me. This thing that definitely, and immediately I felt like I hadn't been to the gym. That was like my immediate feeling. And then it just like pulled me into like this orbit. And it was like, hey man, nice to see you here. And that was it, dude. It was awesome.
That's just great to see you, man.
Yeah, it made my day.
You make people smile. You make me smile. So I'm like, when you see that, like, it was a bit of an overload there.
It was a
And
lot.
I feel like once you're talking, yeah, like when you're with Meryl Streep and Robert De Niro's and one thing, and then I freaked out when I saw Chevy Chase. Like this older lady's like, come here, darling. You're the Aquaman. I was like, yeah. And she's like, Chevy, get over here. Chevy, get over here. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Chevy Chase's wife. And then she's like, Bill, get over here. And who's Bill Murray? Oh God, Chevy Chase and Bill Murray. I'm sandwiched between them, and I'm just going like, this beautiful one brought this together. Bill's like, who the fuck is this guy? And she's like, and so was Chevy. And she's like, that's the Aquaman. Our grandchildren love him. Oh yeah. But you just go like, there it is. Oh, that's cool. See, in my mind, I was sandwiched. Yeah. But right there, I'm a little bit more of the bun. Yeah, you seem like more of a bun. Yeah. Or like a nice rye or something. A pumpernickel. So, but we were. It was a crazy night, huh? Yeah, that was a lot, man. I met Hanson. Hanson was there. Yeah, they look like adult Hanson kids or whatever. Yeah, because what year are you born? I'm born in 1980. I'm 79. So there we go. So we know what Hansons looked like when they were bopping it out. Yeah, we know the real Hansons. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just gave my son a crisscross, cross colors. You remember that brand? It's like it was just this brand that I had when like Crisscross came out, and my son didn't know who that was. It was the year. It was the year you were born, baby, when it came out. 82. Yeah, I think 92. I get Crisscross cross colors. Anyways, I just gave it to my son, and I was just dating myself, man. But it was a moment. I've been unpacking my old stuff and giving it to my son, and he loves it because all that stuff's cool again. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, things come back around. Yeah. You grew up in Hawaii? I was born in Hawaii. Yeah. And my parents got divorced when I was little, and I moved to Iowa. But like in Bridges of Madison County, Iowa. Like, dude, like Harold Street, Bridges of Madison County. Boom. One of my favorite books. The book and the movie, it's identical. It's like word for word. Yeah, the movie's the exact way of the book, so not that matters. So I'm like, graduated, Did you go to University of Iowa? No, I actually went to, we like to make fun of it, University of Southern Anchorage. We went to DMAC, Des Moines Area Community College, and then went to, is it still open? It is, DMAC. And then I went off to get in-state tuition in Colorado. I was living out in Colorado State. I was working as a trail crew out there. Working at the Cyclery and Bazzetti's and all these different busting tables and shit, trying to get in-state tuition, trying to postpone college as much as possible. And trying to postpone it or stay in it? Like, well, just trying to get in-state tuition so I could do wildlife biology there. But I went to school. It's weird because when I was in Iowa, I did marine biology. They have a place called Central Campus where all these different schools would go into Des Moines, and you would learn marine biology. I'd have like a shark tank set up. I had my own eel, and you'd learn about all these different things. And I always wanted to be a marine biologist. And we'd spend our spring breaks down in the Keys. So we get in the yellow bus, go all the way down from fucking Iowa, all the way down to the Keys. That's so far. Yeah, and we studied with scientists, but I did that 2 years. Get credit for college, and then I was going to go like, over summertime, I was like, I'll go to Hawaii. So since I'm Hawaiian, maybe I'll get a better deal going to college. And TV show came. That was it. I was just surfing with my family, and a big surf family. So we, and then a show came, and I ended up getting it. It changed everything. I was 19. And you were working but they had the ant. Oh my God, that's him? Yeah, dude. Don't what? Get some lotion out? To rub on the picture. Have some respect, guys. Dude, that's wild that you got to live. I was 19, man. That was crazy. My job before that was busting tables, working in the surf shop. I bust tables, bro. I was one of the first busters to ever use creatine in Arizona. South of Phoenix, I was one of the best bus boys there was, I think, for probably about a 2.5 year period. Is that where you went to Arizona? I went to University of Arizona for 1 year, and then I went to some other schools. But, dude, I was so good at busting tables, man. Yeah, well, I would take all the food because I worked at a really nice restaurant. Yeah. And we were all my buddies that lived together. We was a bunch of climbing dirtbags, and I'd bring this nice pasta home because if the couple didn't look too sus and they left their stuff, just box that in and bring it home. And so I always had like the best restaurants. Pasta. Dude, I worked at a place called Dakota's Wine and Feed, and the guy there was taught like there was this perverted manager who would kind of teach us how to do like. He would like
kind of like oral sex on women, but just like in conversation. Anyway, that guy was a complete pervert. But I will take, not in person, not with a real woman. Just he would like tell us young kids like how to do it and stuff. And we didn't know what was going on, dude. Like I remember when he would talk about it, all the pimples on my face would like explode at once. Anyway, that was beside the point. But they had very nice food there, and I remember if I'd see a couple, if they used their knife, that to me was like, oh, they're fancy. I can eat off of their plate.
Yes.
So if the knife was dirty, I would definitely take a little bit of that, like some cured ham or some specialty meats on there, and I'd get a stack of like some like special sandwiches made of all types of stuff.
Yeah, man.
It was nice. That's back.
Feeding the homies.
Yeah.
And back then, it's like when you're at your mom's house your first time out, you're like, orange juice was like champagne. If someone had orange juice, I was like, oh my god, I haven't had orange juice in walking. Because all went to beer and fucking booze.
Yeah.
Right? Milk, never saw it again. If mom's house, I fuck milk. And then it's basically water, beer. My dad still kind of had to pay child support, so that was like that paid rent. And I could just save enough busting tables.
Yeah.
Or I could work just Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I go rock climbing and snowboarding, so it'd be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday come back. So I had like I had a little plan, you know.
And were you with like a certain group of friends from growing up, or was it just is like it's still like a core group, or was it just guys?
Yeah, there's one guy. I didn't have too many friends growing up, and I mean I had friends, but like the true buddies, they're in my neighborhood, but they stayed there. There's one guy. He is my best friend to this day. Godfather of my kids, he went out to Colorado first, so he was 1 year older, and then I went out there to be with him. And he's my best bud. So it was just us running amok.
So much fun. Colorado is so awesome.
It is. It's good.
God, I love being out there. Is that the altitude always gets me so much, dude. I get affected pretty easily by the environment.
It's got to be hard for you to go from Nashville here because it gets dry. Like I just came from New Zealand right now, and last night I felt sorry for my lady because I'm just like.
I'm wheezing
right now. I'm like,
just shedding a
just
skin
fucking
in bed.
dry. I mean, it's summer down there.
Yeah, dude, New Zealand is dude, I met people on any morning. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not using any letters. They have people there. It's like,
I think it's Australian, but yeah.
Oh, we went to New Zealand. We had some shows down in Auckland, and we met people. It's just like, we met guys who like it was like they had a sentence stuck in them. They just couldn't get it out of them no matter what. Like the people there that talk. Anyway, it was just some of the craziest lingo I'd ever heard. One of the most beautiful places. We went to we got to meet Israel Adesanya down there. He lived there. Yep. And they were super nice to us whenever we went over there. But we went to the beach one day, and they said you can only be outside of the beach for a certain amount of time because they don't have that much marine layer, or they don't
have the
ozone layer.
You're fried.
Dude, I was like, it's so beautiful, but you got to go back inside.
I know it never told me to go back inside, but yeah, if you're sitting out there, you're going to feel it. Like you just feel yourself cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at a certain point, you should go in, I think.
Yeah, you should definitely should.
Or just sit out there and grill, maybe. So you went from Des Moines Community College, DMAC.
Yep.
And then you ended up over in Colorado.
Yep, went to Colorado and then went to Hawaii to just to kind of be with my father, get to know him better. And
was he cool?
My dad's great. My dad's he's awesome, but just I go there when I was young, like 8, 9, 10, like basically when I was young enough to comprehend it, right enough to be with my mom, and then I'd go until like high school years, and we had probably a bit of a falling out, so I didn't go too much. Maybe my sophomore, junior, senior year. So once I was like, I'm gonna go back, be with Dad, bury the hatchet, and see if I can get into college over there. And then, like I said, the show came and changed my life, and then tried to. Telling my mom, like, I'm on this show, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, my mom's in the same house I was raised in.
Wow.
So
what are you doing? Are you doing something with Satan?
I know. She's like, oh, you're on Baywatch Hawaii? I was like, Mom, I'm like, it's not what you think. It's like a whole different spin on it. They're in Hawaii. It's not. And she's like, what?
It's a whole different spin. They're in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hasselhoff wasn't really on it anymore, but they're trying to change it up, so. Anyways.
Dang.
And then I spent the next 30 years digging myself out of that hole.
Yeah.
Cheers to that. Here we are now.
And so your mom is a white woman, and your father is more Islander.
My dad's Hawaiian, yeah. Kakamani. My mom is It's basically German-Irish.
Is there a lot of beef between Hawaiians and Hawaii? Of like, are there different kind of sects of Hawaii, SECTS of Hawaiians, like different kind of like, or is it if you're a Hawaiian, you're Hawaiian?
I mean, that's a good question. I wouldn't say it's like sects. Definitely, back in the day, there was different islands with different kings until it was united by Kamehameha, but not everyone loved Kamehameha. You could have been with Kahiki, you could have been different. You could have been with different islands, and that obviously to unite them, your family could have been murdered. So I don't think everyone sees eye to eye. But having said that, like we are, since we are a part of America now, like I think all those generations, our culture and our language was completely removed from us, like most indigenous races, and really trying to get it back. And I don't necessarily think there's like sex to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like so people aren't like that tribal.
I'll tell you what, not as much as like if you were compared to New Zealand, where there's don't quote me, but there's 200 plus different iwis, different tribes in Marais.
Oh yeah, I met some iwis.
Yeah, whereas the South Island there's one, like Naitahu's just one tribe on the South Island. The North Island has many, so it definitely has to go through a lot more. If you're trying to agree on certain things, like it's got to go through more people. So
yeah. Got it. And did your dad have a like you see like a very Hawaiian kind of guy?
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, in the sense of like,
because there's so much pride in that culture. It's such a unique culture.
Yeah, I come from the west side of Oahu. My dad lives in Nanakuli. Most of my family's like Nanakuli, Waianae, and then Makaha. And the whole west side is called Hawaiian Homestead Land. It's like our reservation kind of thing. And so, but my father's very much a waterman. And in that sense,
what does that mean? He likes to be out in the water?
Yeah,
or is it a specific job?
Outriggers, paddling, surfing. He was a coach, and I mean, just a waterman is a knowledge of sailing, knowledge of
anything out there. And you're Aquaman, which is crazy. That's crazy.
It is, and I've always wanted to. My family is very much some of the last living legends of surfing or of watermen. Is like my great uncle's Buffalo Keolana.
Bring him up so you can get a gander at him.
Buffalo Keolana, and Brian Keolana is an amazing waterman too. Who's my champion. He's come from the Keolanas.
Oh wow!
That's Uncle Buff.
Hell yeah, dude!
Beautiful Hawaiian man,
yeah. I think I've seen him on the pictures of the bronzer at the tanning salon as well. I think I'll just say this: they're using his name, image, and likeness over there. Okay, it's Suntan City. I'll say that fast,
yeah.
Dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I always wanted to be with him, but that's kind of that's the family.
And he still lives over there.
He does, yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, I just wonder, do Hawaiians feel like it seems to me like Hawaiians always feel like a responsibility to uphold their culture, kind of, or that they're Hawaiian, like there just seems to be like a certain like level of respect that they carry about themselves with that.
I think that's true. I think there's a lot of things that have happened to our people it's been very challenging. And what's happened, and getting our identity back, getting our culture back, getting our language back. I'm sure there's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of terror and trauma that's happened to the Hawaiian Islands. So there's a lot.
Yeah, I think when you have something beautiful, people want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so nice over there, dude. I even remember one time I was drowning over there, and I remember being like, "Where else am I gonna drown?" Like, it was so nice. I remember looking back at the shoreline. Literally, I was snorkeling, and I wasn't doing well. I was losing. And I remember looking back at the shoreline, and I thought I was going to drown. And I was like, what, dude, where else are you going to drown? You're going to drown in a Hampton Inn pool somewhere, like, outside of Jacksonville or something? No, dude, this is where you do it, And so there was almost this crazy moment of peace with just how beautiful it was there, It's a really special place.
Where were you at when you were drowning, man?
I was in Maui.
Was there waves? Was it just because it's deep water?
There were waves, but it was like...
You just got a little too carried away and you got too far out, maybe?
Yeah, I went snorkeling and it was by myself. And bad idea, huh?
Yeah, it's bad to do anything. Yeah, go in the water and do it by yourself.
Yeah. And that's when I realized it was fun. It was kind of fun. And I remember I got out there a little bit and I was like, oh man. And then I would see the fish, but then the water would go down, and then I would just be like almost like trying to like not get on the coral or whatever, like being like that.
Yeah.
And then it would go back. It was just like switching. It just got super scary, and then I was further and further out, and I started getting really spooked.
Yeah, well, there's just different ribs too. Like,
yeah. I caught a bad rib.
I think every surfer, everyone drowns.
Have you ever been in a drowning before out there?
Very much so.
No way.
Yeah, I've drowned, and it's a beautiful teacher, man. The ocean's she's the ultimate teacher, so it sucks. Drowning sucks.
Yeah.
No way about it.
Yeah. All right.
It's like you just see your slow death. It sucks. It flashes in. Can't move your arms anymore, and you're going down and can't breathe. That's when I used to smoke. Well, I smoke cigars still, but it took me a while to get back to it. But I used to smoke like 2 packs a day. It was pretty. Just love. Like, and then I tried to slow down. I'd be like, roll a pouch, and then I'd burn a pouch in a day. Just
roll them yourself.
Just loves tobacco. And,
damn, I can't believe I was a damn smoker. That's inspiring, actually, dude. You can do anything, people.
And that was a hard one to quit. I mean, that's a fair share of shit. But it's like, I think smoking was a good stuff for my family. And then when I drowned, something took my breath. I came out of that water, and that thing died. And I mean, I tried really hard to stop many times, and I came out, and if I tried to smoke, I'd vomit. Like, that part of me just died because it took my breath, and I had to go through it. And then the reason I got saved is I actually hit the outer reef, because I was over half a mile offshore. It's just there's 2 reefs, and so I was on the outer reef of Maui, and then doing some coast paddling, and I hit the reef, and it just touched my toe, and I just bubbled down the reef and just jumped up, and then I hit another wave, and I just held onto the reef and waited. I was out there for a while.
Dang, who rescued you?
I was with Laird. I was surfing with Laird, and
I saw him once at a Whole Foods.
Yeah. Sounds on point. The Hell brand.
Yeah.
But and I gave Kalama and my friend Joe Flag. Yeah, but it was my leash snapped and I was stuck out in the middle of the ocean, so it was just very windy to the board and I was gone.
Smoking was nothing.
Yeah, never smoked again. Damn. Get you guys up here, just type quick and get it up.
I was looking at your new film. It's called The Wrecking Crew.
I'm excited for you to see it. It's funny.
I saw it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I've seen it. I know the premiere was last night, so sorry I missed that. But no, I saw it on my computer. They sent me a screener of it. Yeah, dude, it's so nice to be able to visit. You feel like you're in Hawaii for a while.
Yeah, it's just the movies we grew up with, right? This Weapons, 48 Hours, all these things, buddy cop movies.
Yeah.
I did a TV show with David Bautista. He played my brother in C on Apple.
Oh, yeah, and he plays your brother in this Gordon. Sorry.
Yeah, we just got really close. It was like, just when you meet somebody you really like, you're like, oh, we should. And the next one would be fun to do a comedy instead of covering the blood and us beating each other. It was, I had this pitch to him, and I've had announcement for 2 decades. One of the first things I ever wrote. So I pitched back in, told him, and then next day he just posted it and put it out there, went viral. And
are you ready to lose?
Yeah, and I attached David Leach to it, and basically hey, this is what we're doing. Do you like it? And I freaked out. My agent's calling me, like, what are we doing?
Doug, how many times did you come in here and tell me about it?
How many times you say you're ready? Huh?
Baby. I don't check messages on some fucking app, dude. Just come in here and say, hey, do you want to play? That's what a normal person would do. Hey, dude, how about I can send messenger? Man, what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Hold on. No. This is important. What do you call those fucking birds? What do you call a bird that fucking delivers shit? Carrier pigeon. How about I send you a fucking carrier? I've been sending you carrier pigeons for weeks now. Are you ready to lose? That's my question.
Yeah, come on.
All right. I'm going to whoop your ass so badly, it's going to make your head spin. I am so good, and you are so not. You have an invitation, and everyone's waiting on you.
I'm coming.
One of the greatest breaks in the history of the game. Look at that. I made something.
I'm a dirty dad.
I'm a dirty player, baby.
Obnoxious.
That was great. Oh, fuck. No way you hit this shot. No way. Oh, what an amazing shot.
That was a good shot. That was it.
Thank you. Your ball's in my fucking way, though. So I might just... Oh, fuck. I hit your ball in. Oh, that was devastatingly bad. No way. Folks, No way. Really makes it difficult. I mean, I don't really. This would be the greatest shot of my career. Hit his ball. Hit the ball. Oh, dude, I just gave you a fucking win. Fuck that. That was bullshit. Oh, you know that was bullshit. You know that was that, dude. It was bullshit. Let's see you break. One of the worst breaks I've ever seen.
So when you knock them balls in with your lollipop, that way.
Beautiful shot. You're welcome.
Parts of SoCal recently devastated by fires are being under evacuation warning starting tonight.
A strong storm moving in Los Angeles. Los Angeles City Fire Department says people should be ready to take a moment's notice. Since fires last year, it's normal expected to peak Monday morning. Part of a larger system affecting much of the city. Jason Abrams, KFI News.
The FBI says a glove found not 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home contained DNA and appears to match gloves worn by a masked person seen on surveillance
Fuck.
likely disappeared. Investigators sent the glove to a lab for testing out covered in a field along the roadside. Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, was last seen just a few weeks ago, and investigators say they're still tracking case. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer isn't backing down on Democrats' desire to reform immigrations and customs enforcement. Schumer told CNN's State of the Union that ICE is a rogue force that needs to be reined in.
They need to stop the violence. And requested concerns SWAT be authorized to hold all of these common sense proposals.
Schumer's comments as speaking for the Department of Homeland Security was allowed to expire early.
Beautiful shot. No way. Devastating.
The latest version of the classic romance is expected to make $80 million weekend worldwide, coming in second is the animated basketball novel, Voice of Steph Curry. Third place at the box office this weekend is the research and action thriller Crime 101. Let's go to Crash on the Fly.
Southbound on ramp PCH, that solo crash here center fire in the on ramp is back open. And in San Bernardino, southbound on ramp from the 30 to somebody spread needles all across the on ramp and they closed that market. So we don't have to get into that. The Southern California is on active traffic. Out of the activities at teams and athletes across the region. They're the official healthcare authorities that extend that Trinity and many top colleges across the country. They offer the latest innovations
Man, I think you're solid.
Weather for today, by mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain. 50s for Metro Atlanta and State. Low to mid 60s at the beaches. Mid-40s around 50. Right now it is 58 in Lake Forest, 55 in Sherwood. Live from the AM 24 hours. I'm Mike Gonzalez.
Dog. Wow. You got screwed. Oh, not my day, not my game. What happened?
I tapped the power button right at the top by mistake.
What a beautiful shot. No way. Dog.
Kiss it, baby. Kiss it, baby.
Talking to my mom, she said that the architecture of the lightning never happened. So this has been going on for decades, where Batesville started thinking about like who actually is seeing these pictures instead of just the parents.
Unshot one opportunity. He's so familiar.
Fuck this game.
Unlucky.
I'm not good at long ones. Beautiful. Doug, I need a break. Kids, that is not how you do it. Excellent job. I don't know where my touch went, but I'll get you next time. No doubt.
I'll be waiting.
That's what I like. That's what I like to hear, Trace. Nice work.
Do that, Dave. Just did it.
Bravo to Traceway, everybody. He's using cheat codes, as we all know.
Just put it out there, and
Fraternal twins too.
yeah.
And people are like, I don't know. People are like, that's like before and after.
Major cheat codes.
And so, anyways, and our showrunner Jonathan Trump ended up writing it. And yeah, it's just a fun movie that I want to do, laugh a little more, and it'll make you cry. Working out the family trauma, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's never too late.
Yeah, there's some sweet stuff in it. The action is really great. I loved it. I mean, it's an easy movie to watch, and it's just super enjoyable, and it's beautifully shot. It's just like, and it's just in Hawaii. It's like, oh, if you can't afford to take your wife to Hawaii, take her to see this movie.
That's the best pitch.
It's not bad.
She spent too much money this weekend. Can't quite take her on vacation. The Wrecking Crew, you're welcome.
Look,
Jason Momoa, thanks, bro.
just put a little cocoa butter on her arms and take her to see the Wrecking Crew. Tell her it's the same thing, okay? You gotta tell her it's the same thing. Was there ever a movie role where you liked it kind of so much, or the environment that you were at you liked so much that you're like, I wish I could stay here, I wish this was my life, kind of?
That's an interesting question. Where you just want to stay in that time period or in that place?
Yeah, or even as that person, even.
I think I did this show, Chief of War, that came out last year, and I think it was really cool because it's all about
It's on Apple TV.
It's all about Hawaii. Yeah, it's like when they're uniting the kingdoms. It would have been really beautiful to be in Hawaii before the white man arrived, and just kind of see that time and place, and see what our people were like, our ancestors. It was so special to make that show because you grow up in Iowa and you watch it, like Last of the Mohicans and then Braveheart. You see all these things like, oh, I would love to see my culture. You watch it. I love samurai movies or Native American movies, and all we had was paintings. My grandparents, they've never seen a movie with us wearing all the regalia, like going into the big battles with no metal. So it's just brutal battles.
UFC.
To the next level.
Yeah, before they had...
Like a shark teeth, like they're ripping each other apart. So, just imagining that or seeing a movie on that scale, it took me a long time to make that show because,
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. And also as a gay Mardi Gras vibe as well, I'll say that. But that's outside, and that's just a joke. I think it's very beautiful that you get to even envision something like this. That's crazy, dude.
Oh, man.
It's crazy to even get to see moments like that, like even just like on a movie set or something like that. It must be so bizarre to see moments like that.
Have you seen this? You should see like just the trailers or something. When you or get some spare time. It's pretty wild. The fight scene is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the first thing I ever created. So I was co-creator and produced it, co-wrote it, and directed like the finale and started it. So that was like that's my little love letter. Yeah, it's my baby to my people. So.
Oh, that's beautiful, dude. And was it something? Was that special to your dad or special to like some of your friends and family from home?
I think everyone, because all the people when I was 19, I hired on Baywatch to like makeup artists, to craft services, to your drivers. Maybe when I was 19, I'm coming back at 45 at the time, 44. And coming back and making something like doing Baywatch, which is kind of shit, and then coming back and doing something that's about our people.
Yeah.
That's a real big honor, man, for sure. It's like, that's my ultimate goal. I'm kind of done now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do fun shit. I want to do comedy. Like, we're doing Minecraft with Jack Black again. So,
oh, nice.
Excited to do that. Buddy, sorry about that.
You're good, man. When you were doing that show, did you go to parts of the island and learn stuff about Hawaii that you didn't know before?
Yes, but also like gotta go and just scout and go to places I've never been, meet uncles and aunties and people who were just know so much about our culture. Like we had to learn. We had to do it. We did it in Alala, Hawaii.
You did it where?
Alala, Hawaii. So we did it in our native language. Yeah, native tongue. So all the other characters in here, I'd say half of the cast, it's all Polynesia. So you gotta understand, like, there's Maori, New Zealand. There's Samoan. There's Tongan. There's there might have been some Tahitian, but like all of us and Kanaka Maoli, which is us. All these are people who have their own languages. They had to learn this ancient language. So like everyone in there doing that is like, it's hard. It was the hardest for me, but I thought it would have been a lot easier, but it was very challenging for me.
Yeah, the Tongans are tough, huh?
Samoans and Tongans are, they're all tough.
Who's the toughest one, though?
I wouldn't fuck with the Tongan.
Bring up a Tongan.
I wouldn't fuck with a Samoan. So I'm good.
Pull up a pair of Tongans. I heard you should never have just one.
I mean, look at that guy over there. There you go. Click on that one. The guy on the right.
Oh my God. That guy is doing something different, huh?
You know what? We're all lost, so it's nice. We don't have to fuck around to get in a fight with a Tongan.
Yeah, no, I'm never gonna. But that's why.
Just Polynesians in general, man. man, they're just like, oh, it's such a different breed.
Dude, you know who I like? Filipinos. They're kind of like the comfortable Polynesians, you know?
There you go, yeah.
And they're the smiling people, you know?
They are.
And they're the last people that most people see before they die because a lot of them work in hospice care, which is crazy. When you think about that, imagine you're laying there and you open up a little and it's just some Filipinos, dude. And they're just singing something nice to you.
I mean, it sounds nice.
That's a portable Hawaii, dude.
I just hope my kids are there and they're looking after me. But I'm going to put that shit on them. You put me in a home, I'm going to haunt your ass. I'm going to fucking haunt your ass. You put me in a home.
Dude,
I'm going to have my fans break me out.
You think you'd be a good ghost, though, dude?
This is a script right there. Me and you old, we'll just get all the old makeup.
Yeah.
Just us in our dying ages in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Our fans break us out.
And they break us out of what?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Go to a Comic-Con for the old time days. You interview them all.
Yeah.
We do like The Hangover. We just relive all the good times.
Yeah, it sounds just like The Hangover. At least we'll go see it.
Being a sex trafficker.
It's just time that we all know that Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. That's what I love. Just pick more or less on 2+ players and lock your picks in. That's it. That's my favorite thing. It's just simple. You pick more or less, and it's specific. Now you got your guys in the game. And right here's my lineup for the big game. Tell me if you want. Look, I don't know what I'm doing, but you can even follow me on Prize Picks at Theo Vaughn. And on top of picking lineups, you can now pick teams on Prize Picks. Pick the winner, total, and spread on the big game. Team picks are available in 30 states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Boy, God, where's the cops? And right here is who I'm going with to win the big game next Sunday. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Play responsibly. You know, to me, the future of finances feels strange. That's why I like to cover my bases. And when I want to add more Bitcoin, MoonPay is usually the first app I reach for. You don't need to buy a full coin, and the whole process is clean, simple, and easy to understand. MoonPay has become a major partner of the show, and I've actually chosen to accept my compensation from them in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin lives in my personal MoonPay wallet, and it's fully in my control de moi. No one else has access to it. With the US dollar constantly moving up and down, this felt like a smart way for me to diversify a bit and potentially get more long-term value out of the partnership. Just keep in mind, even though MoonPay makes it easy to buy crypto, you should always do your own research and understand what you're getting into. Crypto can be volatile, and there's always the possibility of losing money. MoonPay is a tool to facilitate your transactions, not a source of financial advice. Trade responsibly. If you're running a business on a clunky old phone system, then you know that isn't really good. It's like competing with one hand tied behind your back. And every time you miss a call, that's money left on the table. Thankfully, there's Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the modern alternative, built to help you work smarter, build stronger relationships, and never miss an opportunity. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. No more juggling 2 phones or being tied to a landline. Quo works through an app on your phone or computer, so you can run your business from anywhere. Join over 90,000 businesses using Quo. Get started free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/Theo. That's QUO.com/THEO. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Me and David Spade just made a movie, actually, that's going to come out in like 2 months.
Shut up.
Yeah, we wrote it, funded it, everything.
I love David Spade.
Oh, he's the best, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Tommy Boy, one of my favorites.
Oh, that was one of the best ever. Was there,
That's just an old time buddy, or you just were like, yeah.
he and I became friends like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we became really close friends. And then we had kind of an idea, and we started writing it. It took like a year, and then we decided to just self-fund it. And it was like a $4 million budget, I think. And then we got one investor, and and we made it. We shot it in like 23 days.
Wonderful. What's this called?
It was exciting. It's called Bus Boys. It's about two guys who aren't doing that good, and one of them loses his girlfriend to a waiter at a restaurant. And so we figure if we can become waiters, then everything will be great.
That's what you're so good at being a bus boy. You're talking about like what we were talking about, like
I channel
professional bus boys. Yeah.
I channeled this one. Yeah, people are like, this is just whimsical. What are you guys doing? No, this is it. So yeah, I definitely channeled that. And David was a busboy too in Arizona as well when he was growing up.
They wouldn't make me a waiter. That was my last job. Yeah, I was a busboy at 2 places.
I can see that.
They wouldn't let me. They were trying to hold me down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, there's a glass ceiling.
Yeah. Never made a waiter.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Busboys are dope, dude. Busboys are dope.
Busboys are dope.
That was the culture. Yeah, all they don't know is shit.
They can have the drugs. They can have the bread.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking dope. Drinking with the dishwasher, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, who's got extra butter?
I love salt and pepper. Guess who's got that? Let's go see a waiter do that. Now they're all fucking making more money than you.
Yeah, they're all counting. They're usually counting their money.
Not sharing their tips is what they're not
type
doing.
Shit, homie. That's what they're doing, dude. Who's got the extra salt there?
You know what? I'm gonna tip my waitress less, and I'm gonna slip my busboy more. I haven't been doing that. All right, so where's the fucking busboy at? I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna throw the homies more homettes. Some fucking loot.
It started at the bottom. It's all happened because of Reagan, because of trickle-down economics. Who started trickle-down economics? Bring that up. It was Reagan, wasn't it? Give it to the waiters. Go give it to the busboys. That's not helping. I was just at the nurses' strike. The largest nurses' strike in New York City history is going on
right now.
Yeah. I just came from it a little while ago. And it was awesome. I like strikes because it's like being in a parade, kind of, because I'm from New Orleans. So it's like you're definitely partying that a band out there. But it's the largest nurses' strike that's ever happened in New York City. It's going on right now.
Oh my goodness!
See if you can play that real quick. There you go. Play it right there.
They're from New Orleans.
The band was pretty good. They played. Actually, they did Abbey Road. They did all that.
Really?
Which I thought was impressive, dude. Even that one where it's like, bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer came down upon his head. Yeah, they even played that one. And they only had 3 instruments. But yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed that. My sister's a nurse, so I was like, oh, this is going on, dude. I'm out there. Now, did I think I would meet some hot nurses? Yeah. But a lot of them are men these days. Which doesn't mean they can't be hot, but... I had a different bedside manner in mind, so anyway, moving on, Jason, you pervert. So yeah, do you get to a point in your career, because it is interesting to hear you say where you feel like you have some personal achievement or some personal success or something where you kind of feel like, okay, I'm okay. Does that make any sense to you, kind of? Because we're all trying to everyone's trying to feel like, we all want to feel some sort of. A lot of people want to feel some sort of success, right? I mean, I notice it in my own life. What makes me feel like, okay, I'm okay for you,
Did you see what they just did to the guy? You see the junk tax?
I mean, it's a very it's a complex. There's many things I'm going through. Maybe it's just my age, or like you were saying, trying to accomplish get to a certain place, and
some of the players.
Just because you just because those worst times and maybe not doing the things I really truly want to be doing, but I'm doing it to put food on the table. And then I get to the place where I'm actually like, wow, I'm producing, writing, doing all these things. It's my dream come true. Why was I happier when I was in fucking home? Why was I happier back then? It's just because it's nostalgia. Why? Because I'm still hunting. I'm hungry. I mean, I got to this place where I considered, like, well, I don't have any more, per se, dreams as an actor. Like, I never thought of it this far in the first place. You know what I mean? The biggest dream to me is just like make a TV show or movie for my people, make it real true. And then at one point, like, did that. And the comic book I was right when I was a kid, I'm fucking playing them. Yeah. And then like, video game, and I'm fucking loved. I'm fucking playing in him too. And it's like, all these things are great. And then sometimes it's that you're not, why do you not feel?
Does that happen? You think even in like in career, like you got such a great career, does it happen even in careers like yours? Like, do you think that's just a human thing? I guess it's just a human thing, yeah.
Yeah, but I just try to have gratitude in all of it, man, because I have so many friends that could be ill, sick, dying, and just so. I mean, I'm kind of the kind of person like pretty high energy, and I'm really, really generally happy. Like I'm like Christmas morning every morning. I'm pretty fucking happy. I don't need coffee. I'm jazzed. So I love morning. I love being up, and I don't necessarily sleep that much. So I'll probably die early. But my days are filled.
Yeah, you're gonna be filled with freaking Filipinos as well, dude. That's for sure.
But I can't sit still, and I think if I don't have those things, I was pretty self-destructive if I wasn't creating and constantly doing stuff. I think that's what gives me like. I don't necessarily think there's a naked why, or because I'm interested in either. I'm actually like these little small things I love doing. It's so busy. Yeah, but it's like the things I really truly love. Like I'm an environmentalist at heart, so there's I work as much as I can with different just stuff. It's all the things that the little small things that I don't give a shit about that I do. It's like trying to see those things that I really love. And it's not about necessarily seeing trying to help them certain things that I love to do about.
Yeah, do you think like a lot of that stuff comes back to you more like once you kind of got to a certain level, or once you kind of just life just kind of gets busy. Like in your 30s and 40s, life gets busy, right? And especially if you have a busy career like yours, or a career where you have to travel a lot, and it varies from place to place, location to location. I find that it like. It just gets hard to focus on some of the smaller things that are more important to me sometimes. Is it easier? Do you feel like it's easier now in your career to be able to have more time for those types of things?
I don't have any time for those things. Yeah. I have a hard time saying no, so I say yes to everything. And I'm like, I work a lot. So if someone comes in, I'm fully loaded.